Hello guys, welcome to the day 11 video. This video is on a function. So before starting this video, let me just quickly run with the yesterday's session, what it has been just done with. So in the yesterday's session, we have been just seen what is tuple, how to access a tuple, and there is no updation in a tuple. It is only a read-only tuple, or it is like we can only read it, we cannot modify it. The only difference between list and the tuple is like this one, it is unmodifiable, and the next one is like it should be included inside a small brackets and it should be separated by a comma. So here you can add the tuples by declaring the separate tuples here t1 t2. It is going to be added by using a simple addition operators, and you can use a asterisk symbol to multiply with the number of terms. So if it is 2, it is going to be multiplied by 2, it is going to repeat it by 2 times. Instead of plus, you can go for an asterisk and you can have a how many times it is going to be repeated. And we have been just seeing the length of a tuple, how to find maximum, what is minimum of a tuple. So how to convert any of a list to a tuples, and we have been just finished the tuple operations. In the same manner, we have been just seeing the dictionary. So here these are all the keys: name, age, class, and these are all the values of that respective keys. So we have been accessed the keys, we have been accessed the values, we have been copied the content of one dictionary to another dictionary, we have been seen how to delete a dictionary. So these are the some of our operations we have been just seen in the yesterday's session. So today's session is like we are going to see what is functions. So functions is a reusable code. So functions are a it is reusable codes. First and foremost thing is we can make this code to run n number of times. So this is a reusable code, and these codes are going to be in a generalized fashion. So let me give an example what is generalized. So if you are going to write a program or write a subprogram to or write a function for performing addition of two numbers, see like 1 plus 2. So this is not a generalized version. So you need to write a is equal to b plus c. So this is a generalized version. So b and c should be taken from an user, and you are going to perform addition, and the answer will be stored in the left hand side. So it can be reusable if and only if it is generalized. So it is a reusable codes. You can use n number of times in your programming. You can call it n number of times, but the one thing is it should be generalized. So this is the first and foremost thing you need to just deal with. So the next one is you will be knowing about a built-in function like print. So this is a built-in function which have been available, or any of a built-in functions like tuple, how to convert any of a thing to a tuple, or length. So these are all the inbuilt functions. So if you are creating your own functions, then it is going to be called it as a user defined functions. So we can just see what is the syntax for user defined functions and all. So how to define a function. So here function blocks begins with a keyword called def, means that define. Define a function followed by a function name. So this is a function name you need to just specify. So after a function name, you are going to give a parenthesis. So this is definition. So after defining it, you need to give one tab and you can write a syntax or a block of a statements here what you are going to just perform with. So here the next one is like you need to specify how many input parameters are there. So they are 1, 2, or how many parameters, and that should be in generalized x, y, z. How many parameters, and you can decide that you can have a written expression. If you are not returning any of the things, the default thing is none will be returned. If you are writing any of expressions, that value will be returned to the main program. So return normally exits the function. So normally you need to just if you are not writing any of the things, it is going to exit the function, or else if you are writing any expression, that value will be returned. So define function name, input parameters, colon, and you are writing a block of statements here, and you are going to write return. If you are not writing anything, nothing will be returned. If you are providing any of a expression, that is going to be returned. So the very first line in a function is optional. You can just write the usage of this function, or what this function actually does. It is optional. If it is fine, you can just go through, or it is an optional one. So let me just give a syntax for. So this was a respective syntax. So you are going to pass a parameters here, and you can give some of a document information, what exactly the respective things is going to do with, and you can just give the return, and you can have a expression here. So this is a respective defining a function. So next comes calling a function, or we can just have one example here so that it will become easier for you. So let me take a new scratch file. Okay, new scratch file, Python. So we can rename it to day 11. Day 11. Next comes a syntax. So now I am writing or defining the function. Okay, for defining a function, first and foremost thing, that is the first one, is you need to write define, and you are going to write user defined function, that is print function. So this is a user defined function, and you are taking the data type as string. So after doing this, you need to write colon, you should not forget it, and you need to give one tab. So this is must and should thing. So here comes the documentation. So this function is going to print the string passed by user. So again, you can print a string. So this is like defining the respective string. So here you are not using any of return, and you are just going to call it. So this is called defining a string. So let me take a pen. So after defining a function, so that will be provided with the respective function name. By using this function name, we are going to call that function in your main program. So this is a usage of a function. This is a generalized version. After writing a generalized program, you are going to call it for n number of times from your main program. So this is like calling a function. So this is after. So the thing is like you need to mention the function name, and you need to pass the parameters. So this is as easy as like just calling a function name and passing the parameters. We can just see here in PyCharm of how it is going to just do with. Okay, it is recording, audio is fine. Okay. So next we are going to return. So this says that it is a end of a function. Now I am going to call the function. The name of it is print function. So the simple, you need to give the function name and you need to pass the argument here. So this is the first time of function call. So it is saying that it is a data type of string. So you can just see the other version. So second time calling the function. So here we have been defined, we have been telling that we are defining a user defined function and the name of the user defined function is print underscore function and it is going to accept the data type called string. So this is like after this you are going to give a documentation what the string is, what this function is going to do, and you are printing it and you are ending the program. This is just a simple program, and how to call it? Print underscore function. This is the first time of a function call, second time of function calling. We can execute this and see. If you are having any errors, let us rectify it. If you are not having errors, it will execute. So it will invoke a function called function print and it is going to print the this is the function call what we are passing, that is going to be printed. This is first call and this is a second call. So this is a version or provided structure for how to define a function and how to call the function, the same function what you have been defined. So this is called calling a function. So let me take a pen. Okay, next one. So pass by reference versus value. So here we are having two things. We are writing a program or we are writing a subprogram which is going to update the contents in the list. So that is first one. So usually we are in the Python, we are going to pass the arguments by using references. So we are having two examples here. List is updated from function. List is overridden inside the function. So we have been defining two functions here. So first function is going to update the list. So list, you are knowing, you are going to declare some list here. So list means it will be having some square brackets. So here the function name, it can be like change C. So you are calling this function name and you are going to just send the list what you have been just created. So here inside this, what the thing is going to do is like it is going to accept the list. So that is, it is going to accept the list and it is going to update the second value is going to be updated and the value will be just given with a newer version. So this is called as an updation of a function. In the same fashion, so inside the function some of our things will be overridden. So we can just see this as an example so that it will be too much easier to understand. First I am defining a function called change list. So first I am going to change and it is going to accept the list. Okay, then so you are going to print. So this function is going to perform this changes a passed list. So it updates. So print the values inside the function before changing. So what you are printing? My list. Okay, then you are going to update that list. So my list of second is been accessed. So whatever the least value it is, it has been updated to newer value. So now again you can print the values inside the function after changing. So again you are using the same my list here and you are returning it. You are just finishing the function. So now in the main program, now you can call the function. In order to call the function, first you need to have my list here, and that list is 1, 2, 3, 44, 55 like this. Now you can just print this list saying that value outside the function. And you can print it. So after this you are calling the change function here. So you are going to call it by saying that, okay, you can print after the calling itself, change my list, or before call you can just make it before the call of function, after the call of function. Okay, we have been just defined a list here. So here we are passing the values. So this is the one we can just see here. So here we are passing the references. Sorry, it is references. We are passing the reference, means it has been already created in the previous line and that reference is going to be pushed. Okay, we are running it. So value outside before calling the function is 1, 2, 3, 54 and 55. So the value inside the function. So after this line we are calling the function. Inside, before changing, it remains same 1, 2, 3, 54 and 55. So after changing this second value 0, 1, 2. So this position have been updated to 100. So after the call of a function, it has been updated by reference. So this is the one which is going to happen with reference value. Next function I am writing wherever the function is going to be overridden. So define change to, and I am taking my list one, can be my list itself, and I am taking a semicolon, sorry, colon here. Just I am taking that, saying that this passes the list in the function. So this changes passed list in function. So here whatever the list is there, I am just overriding the list. Whatever the list, it will be changed to 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am printing saying that values inside the function, that is my list, and you are going to return it. So this is the one, like you have been having some of a list which have been provided by the user. Whatever the list is, irrespective of it, it will generate its own list. So that is called overriding. So first thing is, so how to call this function is like, now you are creating my list of your own values. So you are having some values and you are calling this function and you are passing the list. So if you are getting confused, you can just change the values here. So after this you can print values after function call, and you are printing my list 1. In the same fashion you can just see print values after function, before function call. My list 1. Okay, we can just see this is a list before calling, that will be overwritten. So function before calling, the value is 22,458,98. So inside the value is, okay, I have written my list here, it should be my list 1. Okay, I'm running it. So inside the function 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the thing, like inside the function you are having one of the things, outside the function you are having another things. So this is a example of where the overridden is not going to happen irrespective of what you are going to just doing inside the function. So if you are returning it, then it will become some of the changes here. So if you are not returning, it will not override the main function. So this is like how to avoid overriding and how to come out of overriding methods. So this is the usage of a return. Without return it is going to work with one fashion, with return it is going to work with another fashion. So this is all about how to call the functions with reference values. Let me take a pen here. Function arguments, it is going to, the first and foremost thing is whatever you have been written a function, if you are telling the parameters list like 1, 2, 3 or what it is need to receive, those minimum parameters should be passed by the user or else it is going to generate a error. So you can just see what is this required argument and what is this keyword. So keyword is the one what you are going to pass. So if you are not passing any of a parameters from a user, you can have some default version of writing a function. So this is a styles of writing a function arguments, and there is another interesting one is variable length. So we can just see this one by one. So the required arguments is like, so I have been written a function called print function. So this is a user defined print function. So I guess you have been remembered this function. Okay, like you need to pass the string. So if you are not passing the string, so how to find it is while writing a function name, you will be telling what the minimum parameter need to be sent from a user. If this minimum parameter is not sent, then it is going to generate a error. So that is called as an required arguments. So we can just see this in a PyCharm. So let me take a same function, that is print function, and change it to printf1. So here you can just see the function minimum requirement is it need to send a string. So you can just see this what is going to happen. So while calling you need to just send at least one string. If you are not sending any string, then it is going to generate a error. So first I have been just sending a first one of a string. So that will be printed called one string. So later I am not passing any of our arguments. So it is saying that missing one required argument called, that is of a data type called string. So this is a required argument you need to follow whenever you are defining with any sorts of tokens. Then these many tokens should be passed from an user, or else it is going to generate a error. So this is a difference between passing a parameter from an user. If you are not passing, it is going to generate a error. So this is called as an required argument. So the next one is the keyword argument. So automatically based on the keywords, the Python is going to select the parameters. So the examples is like if you are passing a string. So irrespective of saying any of the things, based on these keywords, the parameters are going to be just fetched. See, like if you are having a two arguments, name comma age. So the name is in the data type of string. So this will be in the data type of a number. So by default, the Python is going to take this parameters if you are changing its locations also. So here the first location is name and second location is age. So if you are saying that name age is equal to 7 and the name is equal to string function. So based on the data type, it is going to, so based on the keywords, it is going to take the name as XYZ and age as 7. So this is called as an keywords. So based on the keywords, the Python automatically takes the parameters. You can just see this. I will just define a function. So define a function called print function 2, and I am telling that it is having a name and age, and I am giving semicolon. Okay, it is having 2, and here this is a keyword. So this prints the name and age. So now I am going to print name entered is name, and print age of the person is what the age is, and you are going to return. So this is like you are being defined a function. It can take two parameters. First parameter is name and second parameter is age, and you are going to print it. Now you are going to call the same function. So now you are telling the keyword age is equal to 78 comma name equals to XYZ. So now the first argument is name and the second argument is age. So these are all the keywords. So but I am interchanging it. So let me give in the same order also. It is going to take in the same function. So the keyword is name and I am giving it as GKL and the age is 56, like this. Okay. So you can interchange the parameters, positions of our parameters, but based on the keyword, it is going to automatically fetch. You can see this. You can run and see. So the name entered is XYZ. Even though it is in the second word, it automatically taken based on the keyword and it has been printed. The name is XYZ and the age is 78. The second time we are given in the same order and it has been taken in the same order itself. So this is a beauty of a tool. Irrespective of the position what you are passing, it will automatically fetch the parameters of required keywords. So this is called as an keywords argument. So the next one is default argument. So default argument is the one. If you are not passing any of the parameters, by default some values are going to be printed. So we can define a functions like that. So we can just say that default print. So this is a function name and I am taking a default argument. Name is should be provided minimum argument, and age, that is I am taking a default age as some value. So after this, so here default value is age. It is optional, user cannot give the age, but user need to give name. So that is coming under what is this required argument. So default thing is if a user is not giving the age also, it will not generate any error. So this will print the default age and variable name. Okay, then you can print name of person and you are printing name and print the age of person, age, and you are returning. So this is a default function. So now I am calling it, so default print, so the name equals xyz, but I am not giving any age here, so now it is not going to generate a error. If you are giving age, it will give the respective age, or else it is going to give the default age. So age is equal to 56. Now I am forcing the age to become as 56. If I am not giving any age, the default age is 36. So let us see what is this thing is going to happen. So the name of a person is XYZ. So for XYZ, I have been not given any age. The default age as per the function is 36. It is going to be printed. So now I am forcing the age of a person to become as 56. So whenever the user have been given the age, it will take the specified age provided by the user. If the user is not giving, then it is a default values will be entered to that space for avoiding the error, and if the error is generated, the program will stop execution. To avoid this, we are going for default arguments. So next one is variable arguments length. So variable argument length. So this is another parameter. So if you are giving only the single digit, the parameter as 78, 98, it will take. If you are giving a list or series of a numbers of arguments like this, so whatever we have been seen here, that will not just have a respective intake, it is going to pose a error. So here let me just give you a syntax. So define what you are defining, a function called print user data, and you are taking a first argument, and if the argument length is too much high, you are going to take it as variable. If you are giving this, you can print. So print what you are printing, the output will be the argument if the variable length is more than 1, or if you're giving too many parameters, then you are going to have a for loop here. So for var, so iteration variable1 in var. So this asterisk is going to tell that it is going to address based on the memory values. So what you are writing, iteration variable1 in argument var. So you are going to have a print. What you are going to print is variable 1. So this variable 1 is going to access the var position and it is going to give more than one results. So this is called as an respective function. So let me show you the difference between normal functions and variable argument functions. So I am defining the variable print. So it is going to take two arguments. First one is argument 1 and the second argument is variable argument. Okay, so after this write a semicolon. So what it is going to do is this prints a variable passed arguments if you are passing more than 1. So again you are printing the argument 1 here by saying output. So you are writing a for loop for variable in and you are writing a colon. So if you need to give one tab, the system will take the tab. So it says that it is inside the for. I guess you have been remember the syntax for and while and all. So next for, you are going to print var. That's all. So then you are going to return a program. So this is like print. Okay, you are calling a var and passing only one argument. If only one argument is passed, this line will execute and it will finish. So if you are passing the variable print, that is of many lines like this, then it will enter this for loop and it is going to print. Okay, we can just see the output here. See, the output is 1. So if you are giving other than the first argument will be printed using this argument print function. So rest of these variables will be seated in this asterisk variable. So that is variable length of an argument. So you can just see the other functions here. See, in this function we have passed only 2 arguments. If you are passing more than 2, it will pose an error again. So in order to avoid that, this is a variable length argument functions. So this is another sort of writing the respective functions, that is variable length of arguments. So the next we can just see the return of an expression. See, like I am writing a program to return the sum of 3 numbers. So define sum of 3 and you are just having argument 1 comma argument 2 comma argument 3 and you are writing a semicolon for this. So here you are going to make a total, that is argument 1 plus argument 2 and argument 3. So this is the name of a variable, you can take anything. But what you have been taken here, those names should be same whenever you are using inside that function. Why? Because this value will be sitting here and the same value will be fetching at this point. So the total will be argument this and all. So you are printing answer inside the function, that is total. And you are returning the total. So this is like program which returns some sum or results to the main program. So how to call this now? Total value is equal to sum of 3, and sum of 3 is you need to pass 3 arguments here. So now you can print outside the function the value is total 1. You can change the variable name, so it will have a clear cut version inside the function and outside the function. So answer inside the function, it is going to add up the 3 numbers and that answer is printed inside the thing, and you are returning it, returning the function to the main program, and you are printing it. So how this return works is, if you are deleting this, the answer will be printed only outside the function. So outside the function the value is print. So here whatever you are calculating, it is pushed to the main program. So you are passing 10, 25, 65. So these values will be coming and sitting here. So that value will be added here and stored in a variable called total, and this total is returned. That total is returned to this left hand side variable, and you are printing this left hand side. So this is called as an return statement. So the last concept in this function is how this local and global variables are going to be changed whenever you are going to write a function. Okay, audio is fine. So how you are going to see what is this global and local variable? Okay, I can just have a one number, so that number is 0. So this is a global variable. It can be used anywhere in the program. So sum of a 3, I am taking argument 1 comma argument 2 comma argument 3 with a semicolon. So defining this, I am going to take a total is equal to argument 1 plus argument 2 plus argument 3. So I have been done this. So I am printing, let me take the local name as same of num. So we are just saying that inside the function the answer is what? Num. And you are going to return this num to the main program. So now you are going to call the sum 3. Okay, I'm going to delete this as it is going to generate the same name. So sum 3, I am pushing 3 values, 30, 50, 60 is the answer, and I am printing outside the function, that is global variable. Global variable is what? So inside is local variable, outside is global variable. So this is a global variable. So inside the things you are having local variables, outside you are having a global variables. You can run it. So inside the function the answer is 60. Why? Because I am pushing 10, 20 and 30. So there is no need to return it. Outside the variable, outside the function, the global variable is unchanged because the answer is 0. We have been assigned 0 here. If you have been assigning some value here, that value is going to be printed irrespective of inside the function. So this is a difference between global. So this is a global one and this is a local variable inside the function. So this is how global variables and local variables are going to be just affected inside the for loops, which have been inside the functions we have been just seen now. I guess this session is informative for you. Let me meet you all in the next video. Thank you for this video.